right, there we go. So basically today we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did yesterday, where instead of me typing in all the fill in the blanks like I did the first couple of days, I'm just gonna review the slides and give you guys a little bit of time to do that copy and pasting or the typing that you're doing. Yeah, we have 2 sets of notes we're gonna do. And that's basically it. We only have about a half hour for class today, so we're gonna go in pretty quick. Let me present my screen. Alrighty, so you should be able to see my screen now. We're gonna go ahead and get started on our first set of notes. So, for our first one, you should have seen, oh, hang on. Oh no, there it is. Important ecological roles. This is our first one. So go ahead and open up the Google Slides so you can do your copy and pasting and have your Google Doc open as well. Okay. This one's a little over a page, right? So we're going to go ahead and jump right in, starting with our first slide on ecological roles. So ecological is just a different form of saying ecology, which is the study of an ecosystem. So for our first slide, each organism has a specific role or a job in their ecosystem. They all kind of do different things. They play an important role in the ecosystem, kind of how we talked about the food chains the other day. Well, yesterday and the day before that. Each thing that eats something else plays an important role in whether or not it's eating the correct things, affects those species, and all of those different ideas. Okay. A niche is an organism's role or job in the ecosystem. So the niche is the name of it. The niche includes the physical space that the organism occupies, how the organism interacts with other organisms in that space, and an organism's place in the food chain. So the niche includes those 3 things. Okay? Only one species can occupy a specific niche in an ecosystem. So instead of saying ecological role, you could say ecological niche. They're the same thing. So each species has a specific role that they play in the ecosystem. If you take out that species, it affects the whole ecosystem. That's why it's so important that we try to keep species from going extinct, right? Okay, let me give you guys about 30 seconds or so on this first one. Okay, copy and pasting or typing it out if you want to type it out. Alrighty. If I go a little bit quick, I'm sorry. Like I said, we only have about a half hour, so if you need to finish this up later, that's totally fine. But I'm going to kind of go through these a little bit quick so that we get through both of them. Okay, the next thing. There are 4 notable, so important, notable means important, ecological roles or niches that are important to acknowledge. So 4 of these that are pretty much the most important parts of our ecosystems. The first one is the decomposers. The next one is I hate this word, detritivores. The next one is the pollinators. And then the seed dispersers are another important thing. Okay, we've already talked a little bit about decomposers and what they do. The detritivores, we have not talked about. We'll learn about those in a minute. What does it mean to pollinate something? Think about bees and stuff. What does a pollinator do? Any ideas? Oh, you guys said something at the same time. What? No, try and guess right now. No. All right, that's fine. We'll learn about it. What about a seed disperser? What do you think that one means?
A wind?
The wind could be a seed disperser. Yep. Hmm?
Are pollinators like butterflies and bees?
Butterflies and bees are pollinators. Yep. Okay. Do about 15 more seconds on this one. All right. So let's talk about our decomposers. We already have talked about these a little bit, but decomposers are important to an ecosystem because without them, dead plants and animals would accumulate in the ecosystem. So we would just see a lot of dead plants and animals everywhere if the decomposers were not there. These decomposers recycle the nutrients in an ecosystem. So they break down the dead organisms into simple nutrients, which nutrients are things that are good for animals and plants and all that stuff. They recycle these good nutrients back into the soil, and then the plants absorb those nutrients to build new plant parts, which then get eaten by something, and so on and so on. Okay, many fungi and bacteria are decomposers because they eat all those dead things, all the things that nobody else wants to eat. They eat them. Okay? Give you guys about 30 seconds on this slide. All right. Our next slide. The detritivores. A hard word to say. But that's a type of consumer, so it eats other things. They feed on waste called detritus, which is produced by animals. So they feed on the feces, which is the poop, and other waste products that would otherwise just add up and sit all over the place if they weren't there to eat them. Detritivores, I really don't like this word. There's too many T's in it. Detritivores are important to ecosystems because the waste would build up if they weren't there to eat them and break it down. Most earthworms and then a lot of insects are the detritivores. So yeah, if you ever get dared to eat a worm, maybe think that through a little bit more because now you know that they eat poop. So yeah. But they're important because we would have all kinds of poop and other waste things chilling around if they weren't there to eat it. And that would be a little bit gross. A lot of it gross, yeah. Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds or so on this one. Alrighty. How we doing? Is this an okay pace? Am I going too quick? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good? Alright, how about in person? We doing alright here?
I'm just doing them on my own.
That's alright. As long as you're listening to what I'm saying, we're good. Alright. So, the pollinators. These are the organisms that help pollinate flowers. So pollination is the transfer of pollen from the male part of the flower to the female part of the flower. And it's essential for flowering plants and the reproduction of plants. So it's how new plants come around. So basically they take the pollen from one plant, put it on another one, and it allows the other plant to grow and more plants to come from it. Okay, plant babies, basically. But bees are really important to that. I'm sure you guys see it all the time, right? The things that's like, save the bees, right? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys see that? Okay, good. It's because we need the bees to pollinate things. They're like one of the only species that is like such a major pollinator that if bees were to go extinct, flowers and stuff would not reproduce and bloom as much as they are now. And we need those flowers to stay alive because plants or animals eat those plants and then we eat the animals. Well, we, not everybody. Some people eat those animals. So we need bees, basically. Also, if you want honey, we need bees. I like honey. So honey is delicious. It's really good on peanut butter sandwiches. Peanut butter and honey sandwiches.
Have you had it in tea?
I have had it in tea. It's really good. Sweetens up your tea a little bit. It is good for sore throats.
I had a piece and it got stuck in my throat.
Of honey?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I have not seen a bottle like that. Oh, a honeycomb. I know what you mean. Have you ever had chocolate covered honeycomb?
No.
It's really good. Yeah, I would not want to eat honeycomb alone, but when it's covered in chocolate, you know. Can't go wrong. Have you ever had chocolate covered bacon?
Yeah.
That one's really good. I don't eat bacon anymore, but wow, that was really good. Also, chocolate covered potato chips. Not bad either. I used to work at a candy store, so I used to make all these things. So I've tried a lot of different candy things. Huh? A little bit, yeah. All right. So let's go into our next one instead of talking about my flower or my candy shop job. That was a long time ago. So more about pollinators. Some animals feed on pollen or nectar, which is the sugary substance that's produced by flowers. While they feed on that, their bodies pick up that pollen and pollinate the flower. Sometimes animals visit multiple flowers and it carries pollen from one flower to another, and pollen from that flower can rub onto the other flowers. And this kind of pollination is important for creating diversity in plant species, so it creates different types of plants. Butterflies, hummingbirds, and bees are all different types of pollinators. Okay. We're just going to skip through. We have 2 slides after this. Okay. Cool. I think we are good on time. Did you guys know I worked at a candy shop? Have I told you that before?
I did.
Oh, wait, yeah, you knew that. I worked there for a long time. While I was in college. You guys have probably been to it. Have you ever been to downtown Flagstaff?
Yes.
The big square?
Yes.
There's a candy shop with all the caramel apples in the window?
Yes.
That's where I worked. I was the manager there. I know. I used to make all those caramel apples. I know a lot of candy recipes. I got them all stored up here.
So you could tell us?
I'm not telling you the candy recipes. They'll get mad at me. They'll like sue me or something.
What if no one knows?
Well, right now I'm recording the lesson, so they might find out somehow. It would be recorded.
What?
So potentially, maybe if we ever come back to like full in person, and I'm allowed to bring food. Maybe I'll make you guys one of the treats that was really good.
You promised that last year.
I did promise it last year, and then we went into a pandemic, and I couldn't bring you treats. So that's not my fault.
It's been for the second quarter.
I was waiting till the end of the year to see if you guys deserved it or not. Okay, next slide. There's not enough of you guys here to bring it in. I'm not going to give it to just half of you guys. That'd be mean.
Well,
They're not here. They can't eat it.
that's what I meant. Like, they're not even here.
Okay, let's move on. We can talk about that later. Seed dispersers. Animals that help disperse or spread seeds are called seed dispersers. They spread the seeds away from the parent plant, helping that plant reproduce in a new location. So essentially, like the seeds will stick to them, or they carry it some other way. It gets dropped somewhere else in soil, and that new plant starts to grow from that seed that was dropped. Flowering plants produce fruit. Animals, such as birds, will eat that fruit. They also eat the seeds in the fruit. The animals use the fleshy part of the fruit for nutrients and excretes the seeds. So essentially, they eat the fruit with the seeds in it, then they poop it out. That poop goes into the soil with the seeds in it, and it grows a whole new plant.
Wait, what?
Yeah, decomposers will eat the bad stuff, but the seed usually gets like planted into the soil and grows a new plant. I have not ever cut a worm in half, no. Aren't they still alive when you do that?
Yeah.
Ew, yeah, I'm gonna not do that to them. Oh yeah, for fishing that makes sense.
There they are.
Well, you can crush them. Yeah.
And it's not actually undieable, it's immortal.
They're immortal. Yes.
So the worm is
Yeah. Okay, let's do our last slide here. Last one. Seed dispersers. Seeds are covered with a tough coating so that they can pass through the digestive system of these animals unharmed. They sprout from the animals' droppings and grow into new plants, like I said. Okay. Yes, Skylar.
My family at home,
Mm-hmm.
we grew grapes, watermelon, squash, and kiwi,
Oh, that sounds good.
corn.
They grew like a whole garden of stuff. That's cool. Yeah, Charlie.
One time, we just like on Halloween, like we had a pumpkin and then like it got old, so we just smashed it in our front yard,
Mm-hmm.
and then it sometimes like it dissolved over the years and we didn't notice it anymore. Because we wanted to grow grass, and I'm wondering what I want this year. And
Do you have pumpkins now?
drought.
Yeah.
We're like, wait, what? How did I get here?
Because you had pumpkin seeds in the ground. That's pretty much exactly what happens. Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember when we smashed it?
That makes sense. So once you guys are done with that set of notes, you've done your copy and pasting, you can turn in the ecological roles notes. We're gonna see how far we can get on the other one. We might have to finish it on Monday really quick, but go ahead and turn that one in. I'm gonna give you guys about 1 minute to turn in that one.
Is everyone all the other teachers doing this?
Yep, all of 6th grade is doing these. Okay, and then we had one post that's called Ecological Relationships Notes. Did the ecosystem games open too? You know what? I think I'd rather do? We will, let me make this post. So instead of doing the second set of notes, we'll do that on Monday. Okay, you don't need to do it. Refresh your Google Classroom and open up the one that says Ecosystem Games. Okay. This isn't going to be graded, but it's kind of like a cool and fun activity that I'll leave up so you guys can go and play these whenever. But instead of doing a second set of notes, let's just look through this. We'll talk about, I'll play one of them really quick and show you guys. So there's one for the jungle, the desert, the mountains, and the ocean. Which
I'm
one do you
doing the
guys want?
jungle.
Okay, I'm gonna click on the ocean because the one's in
Oh, I
person
did
is saying ocean.
I'm doing the jungle.
That's fine. It doesn't matter which one you do. It'll open up to look something like this. Depending on which ecosystem you choose, the picture is going to look a little bit different. But then you hit launch, and it launches into a cool little game right here.
Make a mangrove,
Oh, sorry.
an ecosystem game. Log in to save points or click play to start.
Quickly. You don't need to log in. You can just play,
Hello, Earthling. Welcome to the mangroves of
and it
Pollination.
just kind of takes you
It's the
through it.
first day in your mangrove. Here's your mission. Make sure the animals have enough to eat for 12 days. Some eat plants, some eat other animals. To play, drag 5 plants or animals from these bubbles each day. Click these lights to find out more about each one. Move around with these arrows. Start when you're ready.
All right.
You got
So
this from PBS Kids.
yeah.
Building your ecosystem.
So
Add 5
essentially,
plants or
oh, it's still
animals each
talking.
day.
Okay.
I wonder if Wildcats are in this.
You'll get lots of
I
points.
still watch them.
There we go. Okay, so essentially this is like an ocean, right? You can use the arrows to go further or closer to shore. And we need to put 5 different plants or animals every day into this ecosystem to try and keep it stable. So we know that with a food chain, what do you always start with? Plants. We need to start with some sort of plants.
Red mangrove tree.
If you click on this bubble, it tells you what it's called and that we should probably add it.
Black
Same
mangrove.
with that one.
Turtle grass.
Same with that one. And then if we go, let's see, we go over here and click on like the shark.
Lemon shark.
It tells you what it eats after that. So let's put in whatever that is, some big tree, and I'll put in this grass too.
Uh-oh. This
Uh-oh.
is not its
It
habitat.
needs to go underwater. Okay, so we're gonna put it underwater. All right. So I've added 2 things. Now let's see. What's this shrimp do?
Prawn.
Oh, it's a prawn. It eats that grass. So I'm gonna put it in here to eat that grass, and then it floats around. I kind of want to put a shark in, so I'm gonna put this shark in and see what
One
happens.
turn left.
And now I get to put one last thing in. Should I put a plant or an animal? What do you guys think? Some sort of animal? Let's see. What's this
Kawaii
one?
Mundi.
I don't know what that is, but it doesn't eat anything that I put in the ecosystem, so I'm just gonna go for it. Oh.
Uh-oh.
It needs to be on land. Okay, so we're gonna put it on land.
This needs food.
Oh, it doesn't have food, so I can't put it in. So what should I put in?
What are the animals that go to the tree?
One of the animals that eats the tree, maybe?
Mosquito.
This one looks like it eats the tree, so I'm gonna put the mosquito in. Okay, and
How your
then
ecosystem
it
is
tells
doing.
us how it does.
Uh-oh.
We killed all
All
those.
gone.
That's not good. So we killed all of these poor little
These
prawns.
are not so healthy.
The shark is
They
not
need
healthy,
food. Here's who's healthy.
and the plants and the mosquito are all healthy.
It's a brand new day.
So then you just basically keep playing. Over here, that's red. It says that this is not doing well. It needs food. So we need to add something that it eats, right? Does this make sense what you do? You're basically trying to keep the ecosystem alive. So there's only about 4 or 5 minutes left of class. I'm gonna let you guys mess around with this and play on whichever ecosystem you want. I'll leave this up throughout the weekend and over the next weeks or so you guys can play this whenever, but I really enjoy this game. I've never gotten to the end without killing all my
Add
animals.
5 plants or animals to your ecosystem each day.
So yeah, you guys go ahead and play with that for a few minutes.